Great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this first ever podcast episode of Ink and Lore. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Miranda, and we're just gonna introduce ourselves. We're gonna go around the room and be in kindergarten class and tell who we are and kind of get to know us a little bit better and kind of why we decided to start this podcast, mostly for funsies, but also just to connect with other authors, other women who are authors, and like super hyper focused on fantasy a little bit because just coincidentally, all of us are writing a fantasy novel. So yeah, we're just gonna introduce each other, and we'll start with Erin because she's in my bottom corner here. So, Erin, welcome to the stage. Why don't you just tell us, like, okay, clearly who you are, and then where you're hailing from in your journey, and what's something fun? Favorite coffee order or drink order? Because I know some people are coffee drinkers. So,
Okay. Well, I'm Erin. Thank you guys for including me in this. This is so fun. I live in northern Arizona, originally from the Midwest, though. So I found myself in the only place in Arizona that had 4 seasons that reminded me of home. Um, and what was the other question?
what do you like to? What's your morning beverage? Like your go-to?
Oh, my morning beverage. Okay. This is depressing, actually, but I can't drink coffee anymore. It's too much caffeine. I know I literally get like a moment of depression every single morning.
I would be.
So, yeah. So I love coffee, but I just every once in a while I'll treat myself, and then a couple hours later when I'm like raging and I'm like a complete monster, I remember why I don't drink it. So, I drink boring tea.
You know what? It's
Boring.
because he is like, that's from the Queenland. So
Yeah.
you're,
Well, and I get a little fancy. I'll put like a splash of cream in it and maple syrup and try to make it as much like coffee as I can.
Yeah, I love that. Or like decaf even too. Like just no.
I can do decaf. I just don't like the taste of it. I feel like it tastes different.
Like brown water.
Yeah. So like if I go out and like go to a coffee shop, I'll get decaf. But
yeah. I'm glad for you. So we won't get into it too much, but do everyone in your work in progress, do they drink tea? It's like they're
no, they drink coffee. I'm like channeling.
really?
Yeah.
You're like living vicariously.
I have to live vicariously through her.
You should put, it's fantasy setting, but like I need that double shot espresso,
Yeah.
oat milk shaken.
Yeah. There's like there's a little paragraph in there where like I'm talking about like she's outside and I'm like there's steam coming off of it and like the hints of like chicory in it, and I was just like I gotta go with this.
I would be like at my computer and be like, oh
yeah,
so good. Oh my gosh. So tea drinker. Okay. So we won't fault you for that. Understood.
Yeah.
My tummy probably could do better with tea, but I just push through, whatever. So totally understand that. So thank you, Erin. Next we're going to have Kate because she's in my bottom next corner. So hi, Kate. Tell us about you and where you're hailing from and your morning go-to beverage.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kate. I hail from Pennsylvania, but I currently reside in the Big Apple. I lived in Pennsylvania pretty much my whole life. I only recently came to New York. And as you guys saw in my lovely pictures, my mom was a fairy garden, so I enjoyed lots of fun childhood memories there. But yeah, my favorite morning beverage is about 12 cups of coffee. Exaggerating.
She doesn't have the problem with the
I will be home alone and I will brew a pot for myself.
So. For myself.
Yes.
You know what? I love that. Now, are you a creamer person or are you just straight black? Like, do you?
No. I think if I drank 12 cups of straight black, I would be dead. I use creamer, but I just use straight half and half, and that's it. It's my liquid gold.
Gosh. Yeah. So you're like, you know how there's like all these memes and stuff about like your coffee defines your personality. And like the more frou-frou sugar you are, and then you're like in between
I
because
have
you're
no
not quite,
sugar.
you're not
No
straight
sugar.
black, but you're like, oh, hey, got some half and half in there. So I applaud you for that. That's great. There needs to be like a psychosocial analysis on like half and half. I'm on the spectrum of like the more sugar, probably the better. So I'm way over here. So
That just means you're really fun.
oh, right. Well, I'll take it. I will take it. I will take it. All right. So next we have Cassie because she's in my next corner. And Cassie, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us where you're coming in from and your favorite morning beverage.
Okay, well, I'm Cassie. I live in Kansas, so we are just kind of outside of Kansas City area. Go Chiefs! You know, you know. And I am a caffeine person, so I'm a little bit of the opposite of Erin, but I cannot do coffee like Kate does. So I am more of a, if I do have coffee, it's going to be like an espresso fun drink, but I love the monsters that are like, I can't remember the name of them, but they're like the turquoise and pink sugar-free monster drinks. And so at work I have like a mini fridge and I have some of those in there. So whenever I get to work, I just like pop one of those open, which is nice.
One of those. There was one point in time I was taking like a road trip and I was like, I'm gonna take one of these. It was like late. And like I saw dead spirits when I did that. Like, I was hovering like 10 inches off the ground. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. So I don't know how you do that.
Well, so I get the smaller can, so it's only like 110 milligrams. So
that makes it better.
Celsius or Milani.
It's a short one.
It's a little bit better than one of those.
It is. Hey, you know what? And it probably has like caffeine wise, it's probably, somewhat equivalent. But yeah, I love that. I love that there are some people that like really they're energy drink people. And I feel like that also should be an analysis. Like so far, everyone has had a completely different morning beverage. So I'm super curious to see what Lexi has for us. I'm like, what do you do in the morning? So tell us, who you are, and where you're tuning in from, and then what your beverage of choice is.
Yeah, I'm Lexi. I live in Minnesota. I was born and raised here, so I'm well versed with snow and ice and all of that fun stuff. I love an iced chai. I do love it. It's kind of my thing. It's kind of like an in between of like coffee and tea because it's kind of a mix.
It is. I think that's so cool because that's like you just like rounded us out. You literally literally completed the circle.
Right.
perfect pie there because I am a cold brew fanatic, so that's what I drink. I either make it myself, or go to Starbucks. But yeah. I am a cold brew drinker, so oat milk, shaken espresso all the way, and yeah. So cool. So I'm Miranda. I've introduced us, but I am hailing from Florida. I'm originally from Western North Carolina in BFE nowhere. But moved here several years ago and love it. And I completely understand what Lexi was saying too about like cold weather stuff because I also lived in Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio for a couple of years. I don't miss that. There's nothing about that place that I miss. Like Ohio is like, and like no shame to anyone on here who's listening from Ohio, but like I don't know how you make it. I don't know how you do it. I only lasted like 2 years and I was like, get me out of here. Oh my gosh. Well, so we are from like literally everywhere and all places in the US. And honestly, like what brought us together was, and I'm like, I was actually thinking about this and like I was like, how did we get together? Right. Before I got on here, I was like, wait. I think I did a post.
You did.
Didn't I do it? I did a post.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is I posted this thing on TikTok because I think it was Kate originally was in my DMs and she was like,
"What's in your DMs?"
Yeah.
I was like, I think I was one too.
Yes. I was like getting these messages from people and everyone was like, I just want someone to talk to about this. And I'm like, I do too. I'm alone. And then I was like, well, what if I make like some sort of app? So I made this app and then I posted about it. And then Erin and Lexi joined in too. And then what's so funny, you guys, I haven't even told you this. What's so funny is that I forgot about that post for a hot minute. So like I had put in my little caption in that post, check out the like group or whatever. But I had already like gotten so attached to everyone, and I was like, I don't want anyone else. Out of my bio, I was like, nah,
you did?
no one else can get in here.
Oh, that's funny. Well, wasn't there one other person?
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad.
Is she still there?
Okay, let me tell you this. This is fun. So there's one other person, bless her. So she somehow got into our app, and she's like 65 years old. And if she's listening to this, like, I love you. I love you. She's like 65 years old, and I felt really bad. But she wasn't even an author, y'all. She wasn't writing nothing.
Why'd she join?
She just loved that post, I guess.
I some friends, and you had to kick her out. My goodness.
I told her, I was really nice, but I was like, listen, this is for people who are like writing novels. Are you writing a novel? And she's like, I just really like to read. And I'm like, cool. So you can keep following me if you want to follow all of us. Like, but this is not for you. Okay. Thank you, but no. So I made it private, and I was like, no, I'm done. We're not accepting anymore.
I feel
guys.
so special.
It's exclusive.
Very exclusive. There's no one else is allowed. I think there's one other person that tried to get in. Somehow they got the link, and I was like, denied. No, we're done. I was like, no, this is my core people. We don't need any more people. I mean, no shame. But yeah, so we literally started this, and that's how. It was from a TikTok post. So that's like really cool what social media can do, is like bring people together. And specifically, like uber specifically, is all of like things about us.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It is.
Yeah.
Like we're all similar ages.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Our stories, even like reading each other's stories. What?
You kissed.
I did.
She did. Yes.
Like
yeah,
I was
like,
2 for 2.
Too. I was just like,
I didn't get all of them, but
yeah, super specific. And I think we've had this conversation too. Like, are we all nurses, or we're in nursing, or
I never.
That was not the conversation. Kate and I are in nursing.
I'm not.
I think maybe that was for Cassie. So that was kind of our first like little conversation, and then you guys joined in. But then it was like firstborn daughter.
Yeah.
The next conversation, and it was just like, oh.
We found each other.
Like, I have an older brother, but
you have an older brother. Well, you're the firstborn daughter.
Yeah.
You know,
the only daughter, but okay. I'll take it.
I'm an only child, so I consider that firstborn as well.
There you go.
It counts.
It counts.
Same energy. Same energy.
Yep.
Same energy for sure. So, so next big question, because I'm sure like people who are listening are like, that's great, love you guys, like love your coffee, but what are you doing? What are you doing like writing? And like we'll kind of get into a little bit of like our why, kind of go around, and like we'll go in the opposite way. I'll go in the opposite way of what we started with. And we'll just kind of talk about like, okay, first we'll talk about what we're writing, and kind of like why the heck, why are we doing this? So Lexi, why don't you start us off, girl?
Yeah, well, I'm writing a romantic. When I was a kid, I was always really drawn to, fantasy in general. Like I loved Studio Ghibli, Thumbelina, Peter Pan, of course, like all those things. And then I kind of fell away from it for a while. I read popular things like The Hunger Games and Divergent and all of those kind of things. And then I went to college. I was studying pre-law. I just kind of forgot about reading. And then I picked up ACOTAR, and then it like opened this whole can of worms for me. And I just started reading again, and just forgot how much I loved it. And then I got pregnant, and I didn't go to law school, and I had my daughter, and I was just like, you know, why don't I try to do something that I never thought that I could do? I never was like, oh, I could be an author, you know, like I could write. It was always like, those are for other people, like people that are just, they're born to do that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to show her that you can go for it. And then I just started writing, and now here I am. And I can't believe like I actually finished a manuscript, and now I'm on my second work in progress. So I just like I'm actually doing it, and it feels crazy and like super exciting, and yeah, this is cool.
Awesome. It's so cool. I love it. I think too, like I like everyone can like raise hands, or I guess no one listening can see our hands, but you know, like, did ACOTAR jumpstart anything for everyone else?
Yep.
Social
Literally.
experiment needs to be had, because
Yeah.
it was like literally the same thing for me. It was like, I
Yeah.
made this post one time that said something like, I forgot how to read for 10 years.
Yeah.
Because like I got into nursing school sucked the life out of me. And then it was like 10 years of that, and then all of a sudden it was like this time last year, I think, is when I picked up ACOTAR. And I was
Wow.
like, it was someone was like, hey, you should read this. I'm like, I haven't read
Yeah.
forever, and I don't know. And then I picked it. I'm like, and then it started. It was like a chain drug. Like all of a sudden, it
Right.
was like all of Sarah J. Maas, and then I got a tattoo, and it just like
Hopefully not a Tamlin tattoo, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, tampon.
Oh, I so hard. I read the first one, and then in the second one, she was with Rhysand, and I was like, but what about Tamlin? Like, I was one of those people that just fell for it. I really did.
I
I
also like, this could be a whole entire episode. But, like,
Yeah.
it would like ACOTAR we should probably make that as an episode. But I always pronounced his name Rhysand.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill because
okay, how do you guys say it? Is it Asriel or Azriel?
I say Asriel.
I was saying
Asriel is how I said it.
Okay, in my mind it was Azriel, and then I heard it like in the video or in the like where they talk about it or wherever they read it out loud, and it's Asriel, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
I know.
So, like now it's
when I read Harry Potter, it was Hermione. So
I felt that way.
Wrong.
Yeah.
And, but it was literally it was not Rhysand. It was
like right.
I had to train my brain because I found out like halfway through, and every time I would like, no, that's not it. Like fix it so that like it didn't take me out of the moment, you know. But I felt that way with Manon. I will always call her that.
Manon,
when I heard how that is supposed to be said, I was like, absolutely not.
Wait, guys, this is really funny. My mom read my book, right? And one of the characters in my book her name is Achlys, like Achlys.
Sure.
My mom calls her Achilles. She just can't get it out of her head. She's like, it's Achilles. I can't stop. I'm like,
it's like it would be like an elevated Achilles, the way the spelling is.
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
oh my God, I died.
Oh my gosh,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think that's
so have to change the spelling or something.
Well, I had someone when I had like my beta readers reading through my book, and I had a couple of them that were like, how do you pronounce this? And they were like trying to spell it out to show me to pronounce it. And I was like, that's not even close. And I'm like, maybe I should change the name of this town because it's not hitting well. I was like, okay, well. All right, Cassie. So tell us kind of what got you, clearly everyone had the ACOTAR experience.
Right.
But what, like, if there's anything else that like kind of jump started you wanting to write, and then tell us a little bit about what you're writing.
Yeah. So I was a total nerd growing up. I had friends that like we would always play Final Fantasy video games, if anybody knows what that is. And we would like make up our own worlds, and I mean we were total nerds, and I loved it. I was there for it. Read all like Harry Potter. I remember like begging my parents to take me to go get the second book when it came out because we were out of town. And I was like, please, I just need it. So always loved fantasy. And then just like you, got into nursing school, became very hyper-focused on my career and all of that fun things. Had baby and got married and all of the fun things. And then I just kind of like went away. I actually had a friend that like got me back into reading, but she's not a fantasy reader. So whenever I was like, I think I'm going to start ACOTAR, she was like, you're going to start that fairy book? You know what I mean? And I'm like, but it sounds like it's going to be good. And then I picked it up and it was. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been, ever since then, I'm just like, that's just where my mind is. And so it's been really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So your work in progress, what would you say, like a blurb? What would be your pitch to query?
My gosh, I'm not even close to that right now. So that is a loaded question for me.
Yeah.
So mine is about a girl who is put in a position that she never wanted and would like to escape, but duty and family calls, and her own awakening kind of happens and helps her realize that she doesn't have to live the life that others have fated for her, and she can create her own fate. And there's a love thing and it's romantasy and
love
all
it
too.
Love it. It screams firstborn daughter. Just FYI, even though you don't claim it screams firstborn daughter. Like, love it. Absolutely love it. Oh my gosh, so exciting. And for anyone else too who's listening, like we all get the like really cool privilege and like kind of like y'all should be jealous that we get to read each other's like works in progress as we're like tweaking things, like adding things. And so we've like given each other like the golden ticket to read all of our stuff. So it's like super cool to like watch all this progression happening in the back end that a lot of people don't understand happens. And is going to be something else that we talk about on some more of our episodes, is like the backdoor stuff that you probably don't realize goes into writing and independently or traditionally publishing. And like there's all this stuff that I had no clue was part of this deal until I got into it. And I was like, oh, this is not simply writing it on a Word document.
It's a lot.
Like,
a lot of rules too.
Oh
like
my gosh,
rules to follow. You don't just like, it's not pretty words. You know, people are like, oh, that's too many words. Take it out. And I'm like, but I like it. I worked so hard on it.
My editor literally told me to delete an entire chapter, and my heart, I was like, I wrote those words.
How dare you?
Yes. Oh, geez, heart-wrenching. All right. So Kate, tell us a little bit about you also are of the ACOTAR, beginner's journey, but also like kind of what's prompted you to want to get into writing, and then what your work in progress is, which is a hefty fantasy novel that is going to be killer.
Well, ACOTAR like definitely got me into reading more as an adult, but when I was younger, I read all the time. I read the Harry Potter series. Like that was me and my dad's thing. Like every night, sit in bed, he'd read one page, I'd read the next page. We'd just like go through the series together. It's like just such a big part of my life growing up, fantasy and, Lord of the Rings, Narnia. And then I as a kid, I wrote stories all the time. Like my computer, I was the fastest typer in school because I was like at home at my computer, like a little rat, like trying to type out all my stories. And then my parents would hate me because I would write 30 pages of a story. And then I'd be like, oh, I have a really good idea for another one. So I'm just going to not finish that one and write another one. I probably have
struggle still persists into adulthood. I'll just let everyone know the urge is still there.
But yeah, I just wrote so many of these little stories as a kid, and the one that I'm working on now is something that I started 10 years ago. I got this story. I mean, it's changed so much from then until now, and nursing school, it's you're blacked out that whole entire time. You have like no life.
There's no recollection.
And then,
I'm like thinking, I'm like, where did I go? It's
where
like
did I live? What was I doing? I have no idea. I worked in the ICU, and then I went to anesthesia school. That was a black hole. So yeah, so I didn't do much of anything during that time except study. But then, like, this past December, I like picked up my laptop and I clicked on the novel folder and I just opened it up and I was like, oh, maybe I should like finish this thing. And I did.
And she did. Yes. And she's querying, and it's
God.
It's so full circle. It's so cool. That's awesome. Like 10 years of all that, and then you're to this point. It's wild, like what our brains are capable of doing, and especially like surviving things like school and motherhood. Motherhood too, like your brain gets fried, and being able to like channel that into creativity again is so therapeutic. At least for me, it is.
Right.
It's really therapeutic for me. So I know for you guys too, it's like it's this outlet and it's fun, and most of the time it's fun.
Most of the time.
Editing is not
it's like
fun.
you're just staring at the computer and you're like, make words, please. All right, Erin, so tell us about your author journey.
My journey.
And, your pilgrimage.
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey, and what your work in progress is.
Yeah. So I'm going to get like blacklisted, I think, but I was not a huge reader. Like I liked it. I was that kid that like my mom would have to make me read because I was just like in my own world all the time.
Sure.
I didn't want to like be in the other worlds. Like I was just perfectly happy like running around my backyard pretending I was a witch and controlling the wind and all of those fun things. And so yeah, I wasn't a huge reader. I like kind of dabbled in it in college just to like mix things up, and it was funny because anytime I would pick up a book and if I like loved it, I would like be consumed by it. So it's funny that I didn't like commit to that fully. And then so adulthood kind of crept in, and I married my college sweetheart and we had kids young, and just life kind of took over. And like it's amazing how quickly it can shift to just responsibility is like all you focus on. You're creating a child, you're taking care of that child, then you have another one, and it's just like nonstop. I'm something for somebody else. And so there was years of that. And then it kind of took a darker turn after my second kid. And I got really depressed, and it lasted for years. And so crawling out of that hole, I was determined to not go back to that place. And so I did all the things. I did therapy and support groups, and there's like, there's a lot of other things wrapped into that time period too. But eventually I told my therapist, I walked in there one day and I was like, you know what, like, I think I'm going to just start reading fiction. Like, that's the only thing that I think I can do to kind of like help get me out of this. Because I was so consumed with like fixing myself. I would read articles or I would read self-help books. And so I made a rule, like I can only read fiction. And so I dabbled into the stuff that was like, popular back then, like the Colleen Hoover stuff and like all of that. I'm like, what are people reading? And I know. I didn't stay there, okay? But then I like started getting into like some of the cozier fantasy stuff, and I was like, okay, like I do love fantasy because I loved Harry Potter. I loved all of that like as a kid. And so, yeah, I had seen ACOTAR and by this point, they're all out. Like, so I know the colors, I know the like stack of books. And I had asked my friend, I was like, I think I'm gonna try ACOTAR. Like, do you think I'll like it? And her response was what we all do now. And it's like, it's my whole personality. Yes, please read it and give me a play-by-play. Right. So that's kind of, it just took off. And like, that was January of last year. Mm-hmm. So that just, and then it, it snowballs. It's Fourth Wing, and it's like all these trying to chase that high. I found some like indie books that give me kind of the same feeling, but not everything does. It's, it's such a wide spectrum in that fantasy world. And so I just was like searching for that feeling again. And this past spring, I was just kind of like, what do I want to do? Like, I need a creative outlet. And I didn't even think about writing. It wasn't even like something that had crossed my mind. And my friend, the same one who got me into ACOTAR, she was like, well, what about writing? And after I had finished A Court of Mist and Fury, and my brain was altered forever, I had written down some ideas because I was just so inspired. I was like, how does her brain do that? Like, how is she able to create this whole world? And now reading like the other series too, it's like, it's a whole world. Oh, yeah. And so I had written down like a couple of ideas. I was like, okay, if I were to write something, what would the vibe be? And so I looked back at that list, and it just like one of them stuck, and it just, a few months later, here we are. And I'm not done. I'm still in the trenches of the messy middle and all of that. But
I feel like I told you, I read yours and I was like, this is like one of our vibes.
Yeah. And I haven't read that.
See, so you need to read it.
I should, yeah.
Okay, well, so tell everyone, tell the class about your work in progress.
Okay.
Like a blurb. Like
yeah. So it started as a working title, but it's stuck. So it's going to be called Wild and Forged. And it basically is inspired by astrology, which I'm very attached to, and kind of like pagan lore, just very elemental. There's elemental kingdoms, and it just kind of follows my FMC. Her name's Arden, in what I call the turning, which symbolizes the Saturn return, which is something very prominent in astrology. It happens when you're like 28 to 30. And so all my characters are that age, which I was excited about, that I like found a loophole to make them older. Yeah. But yeah, it's full. I'm like leaning into the found family, because that's what I loved about ACOTAR and Throne of Glass. And just like, I mean, there's 10 characters that all go through this trial together, and it's just kind of how they all transform during that period.
Yeah. I love it. Love it. And it does, like, it really does. Like, you need to read Once Upon.
Yeah.
It just, not necessarily, like, the story is different. It's just
the
vibe.
The vibe.
Like, whenever I was reading it at the very beginning, I was just like, this is giving, like, that. It's like fantasy, but soft.
I'm trying to mix, and it'll get darker too, but I'm trying to mix because I love like cozy fantasy too. Like, I want kind of that light vibe at first, because that's like how we live too. Like, it's this mix of soft and like trials, so I'm trying to balance that. I don't want it too fluffy, but I also don't want it too dark, because it's like, that's where I like to be, in the middle.
It's so cool because, like, and this is, I can't remember who said this in our group chat, but it was like, we dumped all of our works in progress, and like we were reading one person, it was on Starting on a Beach, and then it was like, and then I dumped mine. And it starts out with like people dying of this plague. It was like in the slums, and I'm just like, man, such a stark contrast. That's what's so cool about, and especially like fantasy in general, is there's no limit. There's absolutely no limit, which is so cool. It's just really neat that you can do that. And mine is definitely darker, intentionally. So my work in progress, I'm querying and I'm self-publishing at the same time, because I don't have enough stress in my life, obviously. It's called Beneath the Silent Stars. It's 1 out of 6 books. I've outlined the other 5, and I've started on the second one. So,
yay!
Breath. But yeah, it is. I had a really similar experience actually as Erin, because Erin, you posted this. I loved your post on TikTok. You're like introducing you like as your favorite author, and I was like, oh, I resonate so much with this because my not my second kid, but my first I had during COVID, and that was rough.
Yeah.
And I got serious postpartum depression. To like I was in the depths of despair for like a year, 2 years, and I've gotten through that, like done all the therapy, done all the things, and this is just another way that I've used as an outlet for coping and going through like my own family trauma and like firstborn daughterness and like no contact with my personal family and all kinds of mess. And I was like, let me see if I can channel like depression in general. Cause I also like my nurse side is like, as a like nurse practitioner, I've treated depression, you know, like I've been in the trenches with other women specifically who go through a lot of like postpartum depression. And I was like, it's very near and dear to me. I'm like very strong depression advocate. So I was like, I want to pour that into this book and it's going to make it dark. Like I knew that from the very get-go. She has some really deep, dark thoughts, but it's like figuring out, like pushing through that and getting through it. So I like resonate so much with Erin.
Our stories are very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that because it's makes it very, very real. I mean, for me, it's like incredibly real. There's many times, I'm sure everyone on here has had an episode of this of like, or maybe not, maybe I'm just dramatic, but I have legitimately crashed out while writing. Like I would start weeping, like absolutely weeping my heart out. And I like catch myself and I'm like, what is wrong with you? You know, but you're pouring out a piece of yourself.
It's a release. Yeah. And if you put it on paper, it doesn't have to live inside you, which is like, I mean, I've done years of therapy and writing 30,000 words so far is like more therapeutic than all of that and cheaper so far.
Right. So far.
Yeah.
It is like
shade to any therapist, but it is cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I've seen so many women on social media in general that talk about how like fantasy in particular has been very therapeutic for them.
Yeah.
It's a disconnect from reality. And it also like, because other authors pour their heart and soul into a lot of their books, you get to see a reflection of yourself a lot.
Yeah.
100%.
I think that, I mean, I loved ACOTAR and now it will forever be my gateway drug, but like Throne of Glass changed my life. Like I'm gonna start crying thinking about it.
So good.
So good. And if anyone who's listening has not gotten into, because I've seen so many people that are like, oh, it's just so intimidating. The whole series, like you line up all the books and I'm just like,
it's so worth it.
Just do it.
Okay, I have to ask a question though.
Kate, are you about to tell us you haven't read that?
No. I
was about to have. I was going to have a jump scare there for a minute.
I am actively in Tower of Dawn.
Okay.
And I am struggling to get
Tower
through
of Dawn was not my
I actually loved it.
I'm struggling to get through it. And I think it's also because I'm also writing. So like
that is hard. I don't know if it's been hard for you guys, like trying to read and write.
Yes.
It is, because all I want to do is write, but I'm like, no, I need to read and study.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it is study.
Research.
It is. And so yes, I still have yet to have the Throne of Ash experience. So I will.
Okay, guys, I've never read Throne of Glass. And I just got the entire thing though. And so I want to start it, but I need to know, do you read Fast Blade first or third or fourth or how, what are we doing?
I think it's 4.
You have the set. Like
I bought the set. I have all of them. I don't know which one to start with. And I'm reading The Bridge Kingdom right now, which is really, really good, FYI. But I'm like, I don't know what to do, where to start with Throne of Glass.
Okay, which this could be a whole other podcast.
It could.
Right.
Okay, this is how like fresh I was back into the fantasy scene. I did not even know Assassin's Blade existed until I had finished all of Throne of Glass. So I read it last. Which, I mean, in hindsight, it was like really cool because it there's so many things that it talks about that come to fruition like throughout the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if I had to do it over, I would read it first.
Okay.
Now, I don't know.
I've
There's
heard
some people that say read it
such a
third,
mix. Right.
and then there's some people that are hard on the first. I would read it first.
I read it third.
Yeah, me too.
I tried to do it first, but it was hard. It was hard to be like invested in the character because it wasn't like, it was such like short little like novella style stuff. So
Yeah.
I just couldn't connect with her because I didn't know her story at all.
Yeah.
And so I had to stop and put it third.
Yeah.
But
could
I
see
didn't love that one, so I would do it first and just get it over with.
I liked it.
It
Liked
is like a series of like short stories almost. So if
Yeah.
you go into it understanding that and just know that all the short stories mean something
Mm-hmm.
at some point
Gotcha.
in this journey. And that's the part like I envy and I'm trying to figure out how to be better at this is like foreshadowing. And
Right.
It's so hard.
it's
Yeah.
I don't know how she did that. Like, I
Uh-huh.
don't know how. I mean, I guess I just envision a giant crime scene map, like on the wall
Right.
with like strings
Probably.
attached to
Mm-hmm.
things. I mean, I guess that's, that's how her brain works. But I'm like so pumped for you. I would honestly just take your time. Take your dear sweet
No.
time.
I'm on book 1 of the Bridge Kingdom, and I really love it, but I have all of the rest of them, and I think there's 5 or 6 of them, and I'm like, do I read all of these, or do I just go ahead and skip right to Throne of Glass? I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But
I would either start with Throne of Glass and then read through book 2 and then read Assassin's Blade, right? Because that's third. And either do that or read Assassin's Blade first and then do it in order. That's what I would do.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. Either way, you're gonna.
that's kind of how I feel like it's going to end up. I'm like, no matter
Yeah.
what, I'm going to be reading it all.
You're gonna be
So,
reading it, and then you're gonna be messaging us, and you're gonna be like, "Why did you insist that I read this series?" Because you're gonna be like weeping your eyes out at
Yeah, I'm not
2 a.m.
excited for the
It's
ending.
just
Literally.
the way. It's just a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage. It is. It is.
Ouch. But I would if I could.
If I could read them again for the first time, I'd probably sell a kidney. I legit would sell a kidney to read those for the first time again. And there's like so few series. Like I haven't. I take that back. I have bridged into like high fantasy now, and I don't know how I got here, but I'm into like men's. I don't know if I would call it. Yeah, it's men's fantasy, like fantasy written by men.
Brandon Sanderson.
I'm out of the romantasy realm of things, but there's still romance involved. I'm in Red Rising, which
Yes, I saw.
I don't
you
know,
reading
like
that. How is it? Never mind.
It is like neck and neck with Throne of Glass, and I'm very, very concerned because I'm halfway through. I'm like I am getting ready to finish the third book in the series. There's 6. I am concerned that it will topple Throne of Glass.
Wow.
So
You'll have to get a new tattoo.
Who is this author? Are they indie or are they traditionally
no.
published?
So his name. Now you're asking me questions.
Sorry.
Hang on.
I gotta get some info so I can get
Like a
right, I know. I'm like, can I write this down real fast? What is it?
Okay, it is Red Rising. His name is Pierce Brown. That's the author. It is okay, I will preface and say we need to do a whole okay, next episode we will talk about like what we like books like we absolutely like our top 5 books of all time. Like we'll just like go ahead and preface and say that. But this like this will be our cliffhanger. Red Rising, if you have not read it, is essentially the first book. It actually took me a hot minute to get into. And what's really funny is I had started Brandon Sanderson. Now I haven't quite got neck deep in that yet, but I had started Mistborn and I was like, I was in it. I was getting into it. And then I started picking up writing more and more in my book. And I just kind of like put that on the wayside. So now that I have finished my first book and I'm in the editing phase, I'm like, oh, I'll read some more. So I picked up Red Rising again because I had started it like a little bit ago and then I put it down. It is written in first person view, which I struggle with, to be honest. I like third person. Now, there are some people that love first person. Totally fine. I'm not usually that person, but I like how this is written and it's so unique. And when I tell you, it is like machine gun fire with the plot. Like he'll take a sentence and like so much happens in those 5 words. I'm like, what? And I like have to read it again and I'm like, no. Like that is how his whole all of it, all the series I'm just reading and I'm just like, what? So it is kind of sci-fi fantasy, which I'm all about because I'm like Cassie. Like I played video games. I was like Halo, Call of Duty, all of that, like hard when I grew up. And I have a little brother, so you know. So, but I like Red Rising. Kind of, it gives me like Halo vibes. Gives me Halo vibes, but then throwing a little bit of the fantasy part into it. It does have like romance in it, but it's so subtle and like the undertone and like, but it's so deep at the same time. Yeah. So if you haven't read it, you need to read it.
I have to get on that.
Mm-hmm.
So good. And they're not super, super lengthy.
Okay.
And the first, no, he's got 6. There's 6 books. And I think like he's in the process of writing the next one. So, I mean, you know, it's not a completed series technically, but it is, you'd get a lot out of it by just reading. Y'all just need to start reading it.
It's a lot of homework.
Immediately, I felt like so much testosterone. I was just like, I'm ready to go fix a truck and build a house.
Wage like that audio that's like, I'm ready to go to war.
So ready. I'm so ready. So, yeah, so we'll just kind of wrap this up as our first episode, getting to know about us as your next favorite fantasy authors. And next episode, we'll talk about like some of our favorite reads or some things that we want to read. Like I have a whole, you know, everyone has a TBR, but what are some things, and maybe even like if we can come together, we can talk about like some indie authors that we have read. I have a handful that I've read recently that are so good that help inspire me to do better with my writing. And yeah, we'll reconvene in a week. But we hope that you guys have enjoyed this little chat sesh with all of us together, all of us women fantasy fiction writers. And next time around, we'll chat some more about all things happening in our writers' world and what we love to read. And we hope you guys will join us. Bye.
Yay.
Bye.